My name is Dave Shacochis. I'm the Vice President of Product Management for Fabric Services at Lumen. It's a complex IT landscape, right? Everything's always evolving. And so what our customers are looking at is for their networks to be to evolve and to change. And one of the major improvements in the trends we've seen here over the past 15, 20 years has been the emergence of software-defined networking. So what our customers can look to now and things like the multi-service port, the M-Uni as defined, it's a tried and true approach towards using VLANs and pseudo-wires to have customers link and design their networks together. It really gets us around some of the overwrought complexity that you see through the MPLS years. There's a lot of promise in tagging technologies and quality of service technologies, but it also brought a lot of device-side configuration challenges. What software-defined networking has allowed us to do is to really decouple the control plane from the data plane. And it allows us to fall back on some more tried and true representations, such as the VLAN and the pseudo-wire, and being able to slice up our customers' network capacity to be able to have certain lanes reach different parts of their multi-cloud topology in ways that work for them and scale for them over time. It also allows them to be more efficient in the way that they deploy and roll out their network for overall cost efficiency. As customers look at cutting costs and driving out complexity from their IT estate and their networks, one of the things they're also all looking at is how artificial intelligence and how machine learning and AI patterns and some of those services can benefit their business to really drive some of the cost and complexity out of the way that they're operating their IT estate. So what I think customers look to and what they're all starting to now realize is that as technology has evolved and as their data estate exists across a number of different cloud environments and a number of different generations of technology where all this data resides, customers are realizing that an AI strategy is fundamentally a computing and a cloud and a data center strategy, picking your right partners there. It is certainly a data management strategy and understanding what are all the sources of data, where do they reside, and how can they be built into models, how they can be built into models that reinforce each other, how can they enrich existing business logic. But it's also a networking strategy because all of these sources of data exist in different pockets and different parts of their multi-cloud topology. Legacy data centers, maybe even old mainframe environments where a lot of these data exist. And so having a network strategy that can scale with both the velocity and the volume of the data that might need to get moved around as part of your overall AI strategy is so important. So Lumen's approach to this is to really lean on network as a service, right? It is a consumption model. But the way Lumen approaches the network as a service consumption model is that it also has to sit behind a digital user experience. At Lumen, we call that Lumen Digital. That's our control plane for how we do all the configurations across our network. And then it all ties up to what we think is a fundamental shift in the way customers are describing and designing their networks across entire metro areas. We're using deeply interconnected fiber to build a fabric infrastructure across a routed optical network is going to give customers the maximum amount of flexibility for all the sources of data that they may control within a metro area, whether that is a public cloud on-ramp or whether that's an on-premise data center or whether that's in one of their operational facilities where so much data is getting created by smarter and smarter devices. The bottom line is always important, but sometimes the best way to the bottom line is through the top line. Right, and sort of embedded in this idea is where can you find new sources of revenue? As customers are looking at their data management strategy and customers are really examining all the data that they possess, what you see a customer starting to look at are some tried and true models within networking where customers can start exchanging data and monetizing their data in secure ways. This business has been around a while. There's an old term for it, the extranet, right? But what you can start doing with multi-service ports and the ability to simply carve up your network and line things together is to start creating private communities of interest networks, right? Extranets. And we've seen this play out before. There was a period of time, maybe before AI, where companies got really good at monetizing financial market data and an analysis of the financial markets. Extranets were really popular in that vertical segment. I think what you're going to start to see is more and more vertical segments monetizing the data that they possess, sharing it with other counterparties, sharing it across industries that maybe they don't even compete with, but their data would be helpful to. And looking at that as a way of taking the data that you have to store anyway, you have to connect anyway, turning it into new revenue opportunities by getting into inter-party relationships with secure, reliable extranets.